Every WW2 sniper rifle explained Mauser Kar98k, Germany's precision death machine, and honestly the rifle that set the standard. It had the legendary Mauser 98 action, the same design modern hunting rifles still copy today. Pair that with Zeiss or Hensoldt optics, the best glass in the world at the time, and you had a weapon that could reach out and touch someone at 800 meters. The scope options were wild. Some got the ZF39 with 4 times magnification, others got the pitiful ZF41 with just 1.5 times magnification, basically reading glasses. Around 87,400 of those ZF41 scopes were made, and snipers hated them. The trigger was heavy, and with only 5 rounds in the mag, you better make every shot count. Germany made over 14 million Kar98s, but only 130,000 got the sniper treatment. So, if you had one, you were basically the chosen one. Effective range? 550 yards with iron sights, 800 plus with a scope. That's nearly half a mile of I see you, but you don't see me. Lee-Enfield No.4. Britain's answer to the question, what if we made the perfect combat sniper rifle? The WW2 stands for telescopic, but it should have stood for terrifying. These weren't mass-produced. They were hand-picked rifles sent to Holland and Holland, the Rolls-Royce of gun makers, to be finished like jewelry. They added a wooden cheek piece, zeroed them perfectly, and mounted the number 32 scope, a 3.5x optic originally built for tanks, which meant it was basically indestructible. The result? A 10-round magazine, double what everyone else had, and the fastest bolt action ever made. It used the cock-on closing system, meaning the bolt cycled faster than a German sniper could even process what happened. German snipers were still working their bolts when British snipers were already lining up shot number 3. The rifle stayed in service all the way to the 1990s as the L42A1. Many consider this the best bolt-action sniper rifle of the war, and honestly, it's hard to argue. Mosin-Nagant M91/30. The Soviet workhorse that refused to die. This rifle was designed in 1891, updated in 1930, and by World War II it was fighting a modern war with Victorian-era DNA. But here's the thing, it worked. This rifle was so simple you could probably fix it with a hammer and duct tape. The PU scope was a 3.5x optic, small and mounted high enough that you could still use iron sights if the glass fogged up or broke. Between 1941 to 1945, the Soviets trained 428,335 snipers, including 2,484 women. About 275,250 sniper variants were built by the Izhevsk arsenal alone. And here's the kicker. This rifle holds the record for most confirmed kills in history. Vasily Zaitsev used it in Stalingrad and reportedly took down 40 Germans in his first 10 days. Even Simo Häyhä, Finland's White Death, used the Finnish version M28/30 and racked up 500-plus kills without even using a scope. Why? Because scope glint gives away your position. Iron sights kept him invisible. When you're fighting in minus 40-degree weather covered in mud, fancy doesn't matter. What matters is that it works. M1903A4 Springfield. America's "we need snipers but we're not ready" rifle. The U.S. entered World War II without a real sniper program, so they grabbed the old M1903 Springfield, ripped off the iron sights, slapped on a Weaver 330 scope, and called it a day. The problem? That Weaver scope was 2.5 times magnification. Basically reading glasses compared to what the Germans and Brits were using. It wasn't even waterproof. It was a $12 hunting scope trying to do a war job. The rifle itself was solid. It had been America's standard infantry rifle from 1903 to the mid-1930s before the M1 Garand replaced it. Bolt action, 5-round internal magazine, 30.06 Springfield cartridge. But the Marines said not good enough and built their own version with an 8x Unerdal scope. Much better, but fragile as glass in the Pacific jungles. The A4 was always meant to be temporary until the M1 Garand got its sniper variants ready. By the way, its effective range was about 1,000 feet. Respectable, but nothing special. Gewehr 43. Germany's attempt to join the semi-auto party, but it showed up late and underdressed. After seeing Soviet snipers with semi-automatic SVT-40s, Germany realized bolt action might be getting outdated, so they created the G43, a gas-operated semi-auto, with a 10-round mag and a ZF-4 scope that slid on and off with a quick detach mount. On paper, it was brilliant. Multiple shots without touching the bolt. Fire, reacquire, fire again. But in reality, it had cold bore accuracy issues and the barrel heated up after a few shots and started stringing, meaning your bullets went everywhere except where you aimed. Most veteran German snipers took one look at it and went back to their trusty Carcano 98k. The rifle weighed 9.9 pounds, was 44 inches long, and could fire as fast as you could pull the trigger. But speed means nothing if you can't hit anything. Sometimes old reliable beats new and flashy. Japanese type 97. Sniper rifle extent. Japan's entry into the sniper game, and honestly, they were late to the party. Adopted in 1937, this was basically a Type 38 rifle with a 2.5x scope bolted to the left side of the receiver and the bolt handle bent down to clear the scope. It fired the 6.5 by 50 mm Arsaka round, had a 5-round internal magazine, and came with a folding wire monopod for stability. Kokura Arsenal made about 8,000. Nagoya made about 14,500. Total production? Around 22,500 rifles. The scope was factory zeroed and couldn't be adjusted, so snipers had to use reticule marks to compensate for range and wind. Offsetting it to the left meant you could still load with stripper clips, but it made the rifle awkward to aim. The big advantage? Minimal muzzle flash and smoke. Japanese snipers would tie themselves into trees in the Pacific jungles and pick off American soldiers who had no idea where the shots were coming from. The effective range was limited to about 270 meters, but in the close-quarters hell of jungle warfare, that was plenty. American counter-sniping tactics eventually figured it out. Just rake the treetops with machine gun fire until the sniper falls out. Japanese Type 99 sniper rifle. The upgrade Japan needed but never fully got. Introduced in June 1942, this was meant to replace the Type 97 and take advantage of the 7.7 by 58 mm Arisaka rounds' superior range and penetration. It showed about 35% better accuracy than standard infantry rifles. Early production used the Type 97's 2.5 times scope, but later they standardized a fixed 4 times scope with a 7-degree field of vision. A few late rifles even got the Type 2 4x scope with limited adjustment capability. Nagoya Arsenal built around 10,000, Kokura built about 1,000. But here's the problem. Japan never produced enough to meet demand, so both the Type 97 and Type 99 were used until the end of the war. As the war dragged on and Japan's manufacturing capabilities collapsed, quality went downhill fast. Low-grade steel replaced quality materials. Chrome-plated bores were omitted. Monopods disappeared. Late war, Type 99 sniper rifles were shadows of their early counterparts. By 1945, Japanese snipers were increasingly unable to get proper supplies and Allied counterattacks had improved. The threat diminished, but not because the rifle failed. The war did.